Hi, I'm Anika Allen and welcome to Flavourmag Presents Google Top Black Talents. Our topic for today is creative, and we're going to be talking to people that have worked in TV production, motion graphics, design, who are going to give you an insight into their career. We're also going to be celebrating the end of Black History Month with music artist Sean Booth, who's joined us from Canada to talk about his biography series. And lastly, we're going to show you how to network effectively. But first up, let's give a warm welcome to Google's Bobby Nolla. Hey, how are you?
Hello, I'm fine, thanks.
So tell us a bit about your role at Google.
So I'm a creative lead here at Google, and I work for Google's global creative team. And we work with brands such as Adidas, Nike, Coca-Cola, VW, to help them achieve their kind of branding and advertising goals on Google's platforms, be it YouTube, Google+, mobile.
Fantastic. Let's take a look at some of your work. So that looks fantastic. And remember, guys, if you do have a question for Bobby or any of our other panelists today, make sure you @TopBlackTalent and use the hashtag TBT Hangout on Google+ or Twitter, and you can join in with the conversation. So Bobby, can tell us, why did you want to get into this area of work?
It's funny, I never actually really wanted to get into this area of work. Some people see advertising as totally evil, but originally I wanted to do, I've always been interested in art and design, and actually studied animation, animation was a big module in my course at Brunel University. So yeah, my dissertation was in animation. I wanted to get into feature-length animation, work for people like Disney or Pixar, and work on those kind of things. But then, I don't know, things just fell into place, and I found myself working in creative and advertising. Yeah.
So can you explain that journey? I mean, how did you get from there to here?
Well, I pretty much tried to build up my portfolio on the animation side. I tried to work for a few production houses. Did a few menial kind of running kind of jobs, decided that I needed money and found myself in a position where I could join a creative agency working on like design for web and flash games and advertising. And from there, we actually got acquired by Google, and after working there for about a year and a half, and it's been a slow progression, but and I've just found myself doing what I do now. Yeah.
Fantastic. So what programs do you need to know how to use to do your job?
My job doesn't really rely on programs anymore. It relies on working with clients, hand-holding clients throughout a pitch. So I do originally I used to do a lot of Photoshop and Flash animation, but then it kind of changed to doing a lot more Photoshop kind of stuff, just to build out a pitch. It was lots of visualization to get across our idea for a particular advertising campaign. It's more often than not, I'm standing in front of clients and presenting and pitching our advertising creative ideas to them. Yeah.
So what skills and qualities do people need to kind of do your job at Google?
It's just being aware to what's happening in the industry, being aware of what's popular, having access to, especially in Google, having access to a wide range of people in different professions, from engineers mainly, and producers, and client-facing kind of individuals, program managers.
What do you love most about your job here?
It's probably a cliche about, a lot of people say this about Google, but it's the people we work with, and like I said, the wide array of people in the building, and the qualities that they will bring to the company. You meet new people every day, pretty much. We hire that quickly, and you're always learning something new from these people. So, yeah.
Awesome. Glad we've got more of an insight into your role here at Google, but I think it's time we meet some of the other creatives. If I could get you all to each introduce yourself, starting with you, Gabrielle.
Hi, my name's Gabrielle Smith. For the past 5 years, I've been working for ITN as a motion graphic designer. And I also have my own blog called The New Black, where I profile up-and-coming creatives of Afro-Caribbean descent.
I'm Sherman Beckford. I'm a television producer. I've worked on TV for about 15 years now. I started out at MTV, worked at the BBC, and now I have my own production company called Hey Buddy TV, and we make upstocks, short form, sort of branded work, and we do documentaries for Channel 4, BBC 3, that type of thing.
Hi, my name is Azza Suleiman. I'm a freelance photographer and designer. I've worked on various different projects for a range of different clients, everything from hospitals to musicians to artists, as well as small businesses and individuals.
Fantastic. And we also have Marcus Knight join us via Hangout from Germany. So Marcus, can you introduce yourself for us?
Hi. I'm Marcus Knight. I'm a UX designer in Adidas. I've been there for 2 years and I have a heavy background in web development. Just like Bobby, I started out in animation as well. But then I chose to go into web design, and here I am now.
Fantastic. So as we still have you there in Hangout, I'll start with the first question in the panel for you, Marcus. Do you feel that you need a degree to succeed and have a career in the creative industry?
It's funny you say that. You actually don't. It does help, but I myself, I actually don't have a degree. I was about to go to uni, but there was an opportunity to play professional basketball, which I just love of a passion. So I took that opportunity, and that's how I picked up web design, because I needed to find something I could do, be very creative and be very mobile at the same time. So that's how I picked up web design. But in terms of having a degree to get further in the design field, I believe experience is probably the best thing you can have, because even if you do have a degree, whenever you go for an interview, they're still going to ask you for experience.
Do So moving over to you, Sherwin. So TV production, it's notoriously hard, difficult to get into. People kind of see it like how do I get ahead? How do I make that start? So what do you think people can do to kind of get their break initially in the industry?
I mean, it's tough. Television's a very popular area to get into. I think it's just perseverance, really, more than anything else. It's making those calls, sending in the CV, not taking no for an answer. Really, being willing to kind of put yourself on the line and take any internship that comes up, not necessarily in the area that maybe you even want to work in, but something that will get you in through the door. And then from there, if you can shine, if you can make a name for yourself, people will pick up on, the fact that you're good. And soon, hopefully, you might move into something that is a bit more you. But be prepared for an industry that's very hardworking, unsociable hours. It's very tough in terms of the turnover of people as well. So you've got to be one of those people that, have quite thick skin and willing and be prepared to take a lot of no's and sometimes harsh criticism, as we were talking about earlier before we started on the panel, because it's not easy. It's not easy, but it is a fantastic industry to work in, don't get me wrong.
Now, Gabrielle, what qualities do you think people need to succeed in your sector?
Like Sherwin said, the tough skin, definitely having a tough skin. I think being able to communicate your ideas to people that may not be as creative as you, because I work in a creative team as a part of a bigger news organisation, as well as convincing people that as a designer you do know kind of what you're saying. It's just trying to communicate creative ideas to people that may not necessarily be so creative. So I think that as well as being a skilled designer and knowing all the packages, you need to be able to explain what your idea is, why you think it's going to work, and trying to convince people that aren't so sure about trying something new that this is going to work and make what they want to portray look good. So yeah.
So unlike the kind of rest of the guys on the panels, you're a freelancer, you work for yourself.
I do.
So I guess it's a bit different. So as a freelancer, how easy is it to kind of like manage your time and money and kind of secure that next job?
Well, before anything, when you're a freelancer, you have to make sure you have all your documents in line and in order. You know, you have to make sure that you're very much aware of contracts, signing off stages and different types. You know, if you have a project that's a long-term project, you have to have signing off stages at each part of the development. It's very difficult because you have the temptation of wanting to accept everything as a freelancer because you're not aware of when the next time you possibly have a job coming in. But really, it's having a balance between knowing that you don't want to sacrifice your quality of work by turning out things quickly, because when you're a freelancer, one of the most important things is that you build a relationship with your client, that you produce great work that they want to, next time they have another job, they're like, right, let's get Azza in, because the last time she delivered on time, she was reliable, and the work was exactly what we asked for. In terms of money, before I did anything, you know, there's things like online courses that the government give out. So if you're an individual who's working for yourself, you can sit down and understand how the tax system works, what certain things that you can use as expenses. So that essentially is really one of the most important things, because you don't have a large company that pays your check at the end of the month. So whether you're having a good day or a bad day, you know, you're all right. So making sure all your documents are in order and making sure you have a great balance is something that's key for my job.
And Bobby, from your career so far, what are you most proud of?
Standing in front of, you know, big C-level people in companies like Unilever and P&G and the Adidas's, and presenting to them this, you know, what we think is a really great piece of work, you know, a great bit of advertising, and them believing in it, them really enjoying what you've shown them, and saying, yes, that's what we want to do. You know, we want to change everything we'd previously been doing, and we want to take up all your advice, you know, and go forward with it. That's probably the nicest thing that you could get from this job, in my role anyway.
And Marcus, so you're based at Adidas in Germany. So do you feel that if people aren't finding kind of jobs here in the UK, they should kind of look at options abroad?
It definitely helps to be flexible, because you don't want to just limit yourself to one place. It can be quite hard to just go to a completely brand new country. They speak a different language, different culture. But at the end of the day, it depends how bad you want to do your job. It depends how bad you want to work. It depends how far you want to go. So it's entirely up to you. Don't limit yourself to one place.
And so Sharon, what keeps you motivated?
Money? No. I think what keeps me motivated is the fact that I still love what I do. You know, I've been doing it for a while now, but I never wake up any day and think, maybe I should stop doing this and get what a lot of people would consider to be a normal job. I think this is a fantastic job, and for all the negatives it has, and you know, the fact that, as I was saying, it's quite unsocial, etc., etc., it's still being able, there's still a level of creativity which is fantastic if you get to that, if you're working in that particular area. And to go from an idea or a discussion about a particular program, as we do with our team, and to move through the different stages to end up with that program on television, hopefully being watched by millions of people, and then to see the feedback through social media, etc., of people going, I enjoyed that, or maybe I didn't enjoy it, or whatever, but just feedback in general, to know that people actually watched what you kind of thought about when you were having a shave that morning, you know, 6 months previously, is fantastic. It's brilliant. It's, you know, you can't buy that experience really, and I still love it.
Fantastic. And Gabrielle, so companies say like Google and ITN, kind of a lot of people will look and think, oh, I can't apply for jobs at these companies. They just automatically kind of have a block and think, I won't get a job there. So what would you say to people that kind of look at these companies and think I want to apply but don't?
Okay, go for it. I know ITN has a work experience program. I think it happens every 6 months. So if you do have an interest in working in journalism or even getting into the design sector, it's definitely worth applying, because I think for a few of the people that I know have come via work experience. They've always been passionate about news, so I think that's probably an important thing. If you are going to apply, make sure that you have something that they can see, okay, this person's got a really good quality, I'm going to give them work experience, and then you never know, that could lead on to you being hired to work there. So yeah, definitely go for it.
And Azza, what's the one thing you wish you'd known before you started that you know now?
Oh, that's a good question. I think having the faith to really put your idea forward and knowing that you're capable of doing it. I mean, it takes a long time for us creative people to get to that point, especially when you're trying to build something. But really just believe in what you're doing and love what you're doing and stick with it. Because when I first started, my journey was very much one of finding out who I wasn't in order to find out who I was. So that would be one of the major things that I would really tell myself.
And so we're going to take a question from the audience now. So who wanted to ask a question? You can put your hand up. Okay, this gentleman at the front. You can stand up and say your name and ask your question.
Hi, okay, my name is Tunji. My question to the panel is this. Do you think it's a good idea for people to take unpaid internships to get experience, even though some of these people might not be able to afford to work for free? And if not, do you know any good alternatives to get experience in this industry?
So Shohin, could you answer that question?
Taking unpaid, I would say it's not a good idea, simply because it's a very tough industry, and you don't want to. I don't like to see organisations, big or small, and I would hate to use the word exploit, but taking advantage, let's say, of someone's talent just to kind of prop up an area or department or a production. So if you can get in, and you can get in maybe on an internship wage, which most big and small companies will have some kind of an internship scheme running. I'm sure Google do, and I'm sure ITN do. I used to work at MTV. We had quite a big internship scheme there, where it's not huge amounts of money, but it's enough to pay your way and to cover your travel expenses. I think if you can look into that type of a situation, it's much better than taking something that's unpaid, because it's not going to help you, but it will help them, if you see what I mean.
And Gabrielle, I've got a question from online here. And so Rachel Ladipo says, are there any tips on what she can do in between kind of creative jobs that can help her boost her CV?
I'd say create your own projects. I think sometimes when you graduate from uni, you're like, I need to get hired, I need to get hired. And then the first thing they'll tell you, oh, you don't have enough experience. So for me, I think, especially with my blog was a self-initiated project. Nobody told me that I had to do it, but I was passionate about finding out about creativity in the African diaspora. So I just created my own project, and that in turn has given me so many more opportunities, even being on Google's Top Black Talent. And it's something that I started myself. So I definitely encourage people that are interested into getting more experiences to create their own opportunities, because you'll find that there are so many people who also want to build up their portfolios and don't necessarily have industry experience. But I think if you go for an interview and they see that you're a self-starter and haven't been just, okay, I'm in a job, I'm in another job, you've just been waiting, I think they'll be a lot more impressed to see that you have the initiative to start your own project, and it will definitely help you in the long run.
Fantastic. Well, thank you, guys. I hope their advice helps you to bag your dream job in the future. So Black History Month is held in the UK every October to learn, honour and celebrate the achievements of black men and women. So we're going to celebrate today, Black History Month, with these top talents who are going to tell you about the icons that they admire.
Hi, my name is Angie Lamar. I'm a writer, director, comedian, producer, and my top black talent of history is Whoopi Goldberg.
Hi, I'm Joseph Harker. I'm a journalist from The Guardian newspaper, and my top black talent for black history is Malcolm X.
My name is Matilda McCatrum, and I'm director of Black Mental Health UK. My top black talent for Black History Month is Harriet Tubman.
My name is Paul Reed. I'm the director of the Black Cultural Archives. My top black talent of black history is Marcus Messiah Garvey.
What's up, it's your boy Tank. Black History Month, so for me, Marvin Gaye.
Dr. Yvonne Thompson, CBE. I'm a specialist in marketing and communications, probably better known for being one of the founder directors of Choice FM. And my top black talent is Nelson Mandela and, of course, Oprah Winfrey.
What's going on, people? This is Akala, hip-hop artist, founder of the Hip Hop Shakespeare Company. And my top black talent from history, I'd have to start with Imhotep, who is the father of medicine, the first architect in history. There's a fantastic book about him written by two American physicists, Robert Bauval and Thomas Brophy. I suggest you check it out. That would be number one. More recent names that you may know: Bob Marley, Jimi Hendrix, Muhammad Ali, some of the familiar names. You know, some of the revolutionaries, leaders of the Haitian Revolution. These are all figures I suggest that you check out. Big up.
Like Yvonne in that video, I also admire Oprah Winfrey. I think her journey is truly inspirational. So if you didn't know much about her before, we're going to now take a unique look at her life story.
The unauthorized copy, dedicated to successful women everywhere. My name's Sean Blue. Chapter 7. Born 1954, a little black girl that the world would adore. In Mississippi, Oprah was the name of birth, but with so much trouble pronouncing it, they just switched it around a bit and called her Oprah. Gail Winfrey, read it since 3. She was a special child. Mama left a while, Grandma took her in. She went that extra mile, whatever she could, she did. But they were poor, and at times could only afford dresses made of potato sacks. In the country till she moved north to her mother in Milwaukee. They said that she had to take her back.
So that was put together by Sean Booth, who's actually here with us via Hangout from Canada. So Sean, can you tell us a bit about yourself and also tell us about the biography series?
So I'm a hip-hop artist from Toronto, Canada. I've been a recording artist and producer for around 10 years. And what I also do is what you guys just saw a snippet of. I tell the life story of cultural icons in rhyme form, and I call it a series called the Biography Series. And really what it is it's my attempt to repackage history and tell it in an engaging way that connects and relates with a younger generation. And using hip hop, I think, is just the best way to go about it. I mean, we all know how powerful hip hop is. It's the most dominant hip hop. It's the most dominant youth culture of the world, not just Canada, not just in the UK, but worldwide. And what I wanted to do is harness that power and try and create something like this, something positive, something that can engage and inspire youth, something that can be used even in schools. That's kind of the next step. I'm taking these bios that I've done, like James Brown, Muhammad Ali, MLK, Bob Marley, Oprah Winfrey, and I'm bringing them and using them as educational tools within the school systems as well.
Amazing. So why do you think this is important to do, and why is Black History Month still important today?
Oh yeah, it's funny because at least here in Canada, we get the argument of people thinking that Black History Month isn't relevant anymore, but the truth is we don't live in a post-racial society. We still look at each other and see color and see culture. We draw our own conclusions. So I think it's important to not hide from that and still address it. And I mean, I personally I think that's fine. I don't want someone to say, hey, you know what, Sean, I don't even see you as black. You're just a human. You're just Sean. I still want people to see me for me. Like, if you don't see that I'm black, then you don't understand my history. You don't understand how I'm perceived in the world that we live in. You don't understand my experience. But the problem is, in the media, there's such an imbalance in terms of the way black people are perceived, especially young black men. And it's incredibly negative. It's incredibly imbalanced. And I think that something like History Month, which is February here in Canada, to me is an opportunity for us to tell different stories, tell more empowering and engaging stories, and change the narrative in terms of how we're perceived in the media, because that has an incredible effect. And if we can use Black History Month as an opportunity to tell that story, tell more stories like motivational ones like Oprah Winfrey or MLK or Jimi Hendrix, then I think we should take advantage of that opportunity.
Well, thank you, Sean. It's been amazing talking to you. We've all heard the statement, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And I know many jobs I've secured over the years have been through my personal and professional networks. So we have Latonya Devi here with us, author of No More Excuses. He's going to give you some tips and advice on how you can network effectively.
Good afternoon, everybody. Okay, before I start, can I just get everybody just to breathe in for me? And then to exhale. And then just to giggle inside yourself. Thank you, some of you giggled that out loud. Okay, that's how I want you to feel when you're about to go to a networking event. Just relax, shake yourself and just enjoy, okay? When people think of networking, they think, oh my gosh, I'm going to go to an event, I've got to speak to so many people, and you kind of freak yourself out, when really you're just having a conversation. You know when you pick up the phone and you call your girlfriend and you start talking and talking and talking? That's the same with networking. It's just being yourself and having a conversation, okay? So everybody, what do you do when you think of networking? You breathe in, exhale, and just relax, okay? My name's Latonya Devi. I run an events management company called SD Events Management. And we purposely put on events to encourage individuals to network. As Anika said, it's not necessarily what you know, but who you know. And if you can connect with the right people, then that could be the key to unlocking the greatness or the destiny that lies ahead of you. Connect with the right people, you find the key, it unlocks the door to where you need to get to. So knowing that it's important to network, knowing it's important to build relationships, how do you go about doing that? In a way that's not so awkward and weird, but it's relaxed. So I'm going to talk you through that, and I'm going to teach you a thing called the SAT formula. Everybody say SAT. SAT. All right, cool. I'm going to break it down later. But when I think of networking, I like to liken it to that of a fisherman, okay? Has anyone gone fishing here before? Okay, yes, it's one person. Okay, so you'll get this. So with a fisherman, he'll leave his house with a goal that he needs to capture fish, okay? So he takes his net and he goes about setting out with a purpose in order to work the net to get the catch, okay? So he will position himself, he will look at the sea, he will then take his rod, he will throw it out, and what will happen? Hopefully he will catch something with the bait at the end, okay? So you need to see networking as I'm going out to catch something, which is mainly business cards, which will lead to business relationships or long-term relationships. So you need to understand that the sea is just a sea of people. But you need to position yourself when you get to these events so you can be seen. If you hide in the background, no one's going to see you, no one's going to remember you, and you might as well have not come. But if you have a goal that I'm going to go to an event, I'm going to speak to at least 3 people, and maybe just have a question that you want to ask every person you meet, then you'll be better prepared. You leave your house, you take your business cards, and you know what you're going to achieve. Then you need to have a bait, just like the fisherman. If he got to the sea, threw out his rod, and there was no bait at the end, he would catch nothing. So our bait is the SAT formula. Everybody say SAT again? S stands for smile. When you see somebody, just smile. Smile is contagious. If I smile at you, you smile back. Immediately we connect. I'm not trying to, hate on you. It's a relaxed atmosphere. A stands for ask their name. Okay, people like their name to be remembered. My name's Latonya. If you remember my name, I'm your best friend, okay? T stands for talk less. Let them talk. Hear what they have to say. What are they about? It's not about, hi, my name's Latonya, I did this, I did that. Boring, no one wants to hear about you. Hear about them. And then last T stands for talk in their terms. Have a conversation based on what you've heard. Oh, you like football? Well, I support Arsenal. Even if you don't have much of an interest, find something to talk about, okay? So S stands for smile. A stands for T stands for talk less, and the last T stands for talk in their terms, okay? And once you've done that, then you'll be able to build a relationship. And like a fisherman, he captures his fish, he takes it home. He can either fry it, he can steam it, or he can throw it away. It's the same with networking. Once you get the business cards, you determine whether you keep in contact with them. If you do, follow it up immediately. You determine whether you might just pass it on to somebody else, or you just put it to the side. But all I want to say is that networking doesn't need to be so stressful. You can relax and enjoy yourself. As long as you use your bait, the SAT formula, you'll enjoy your time networking. Thank you.
Amazing, Latonya. I'm a big believer in your network being your net worth, so I hope you guys got a lot out of that. So thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Speaking of networking, there's still time for you to apply to get the opportunity to network with other students and Googlers at our Insight Day being held right here at Google. So we've got Richard, who's a former mentee in Top Black Talent, that's going to tell you how and what it's all about.
So in November 2012, I came to an Insight Day at Google. The day comprised of a large group of Top Black Talent students coming to Google offices and learning more about Google, but then also a chance for us also to network with each other as well. Been able to talk to some of your peers. I was able to talk to many different people who were very impressive. But the greatest thing about it was showing all the different opportunities that there were in Google, that it wasn't just the tech company solely for software engineers, but there was also the business side to it. So we had loads of workshops where I was able to understand how the AdWords campaign worked, understand how the marketing team, the G+ marketing team worked. And it was just really being able to get exposed to such a great company, which was so good about the Insight Day.
So the deadline for that is November 11th if you want to apply. And you'll also get the chance to be here at our next Google Top Black Talent. So how exciting is that? So make sure you apply. So let us know what you've learned from today's show. Tweet us, add us on Google+, and make sure you go to topblacktalent.com for information about this show, the next show, and everything that you've heard today. So thank you for joining us. I hope you've enjoyed it. I have, and see you next time.
Today's Google Top Black Talent, I found it really enjoyable. I learned a lot of things, specifically about the whole networking and how to do it effectively, you know, just to go in with a positive attitude and smile and talk less to the person, etc. So that was great.
It was so refreshing to hear everyone on the panel talking about what they do and how we can get interested in, how we can get into it. What I found particularly interesting was the way in which we were taught how to network.
Today's Top Black Talent was amazing. That's the first time I've been down here, and it was just inspiring to see all the great individuals they had talk about their experience and how they've gone through their careers and made something of themselves.